This Elgin pocket watch has a mainspring that is disconnected from the arbor. We'll connect the arbor back to the mainspring, put it back together. On the arbor there's a hook. On the end of the mainspring you can see a little notch in there. Right here is the hook on the arbor. With a pair of pliers I'll reshape the mainspring. Rework the center so it curves in closer to the arbor. Inside the barrel there's a little nib that holds onto the mainspring. On the end of the mainspring, that connects to the nib inside the barrel. To get the spring to fit, we'll wind it down very careful. We don't want to crimp it. Just bring the spring in tighter and tighter. Just don't crimp it. It's got to go into the barrel in the correct direction. It is a lot easier if you have a mainspring winder. You can also wind it in by starting on the outside and hooking it up to the tib. Just carefully wind it in so you don't crimp. Just take your time and wind it in. We're about halfway in. The spring is back in the barrel. The spring needs to be a little closer in on the arbor. We'll reshape it with the pliers. It may take a few different types of pliers to get this shaped properly. Now we're getting close to the right shape. The spring will connect into the arbor real tight now. We'll place the arbor in. You can see how it forms around the arbor. Now the arbor's set in there. There's a tab on the mainspring, and that is where we're going to place the brass. The brass has a little tab that'll go in there. Now that the tab is lined up with the brass slot, press everything down. We'll place the barrel back in. Make sure all the gears mesh up. With the pallet forks removed, I'll give it a wind and just make sure that everything's running. And it definitely is running. I can hold the mainspring, give it a crank, let it go. Everything's running. We'll put the pallet forks back in. We'll give everything a wind, and when we touch the pallet forks, they snap back and forth, so there's power on there. The hairspring snaps back abruptly. You remove it, there is a little bit of a bend in the spring. The spring is starting to look a little straighter. It's going to take some time to adjust the hairspring, but the mainspring is in good shape now.